welcome to Coach Dev Academy. This is Suellio Almeida. We're going to see my lap with the Porsche Cup at Silverstone GP. We're going to see the entire lap, and then we're going to talk about corner by corner. All right, so going into this first corner, very important to use as much as you can of this curve here right at the moment where the grass ends. There's a little bump there. I use this as a timing for the turn in. I will actually turn in just a blink of an eye before the bump because the bump kind of helps rotating the car a little bit as you bounce, and then you aim for having the center of the car still on the black and white curb, because if the center of the car gets on the green or the red, you end up getting an off track. So just make sure you get as close as possible to that off track without getting hit, because you can really gain a lot of time on these high speed corners when it comes to track usage. So right after that here, we are going to not necessarily use all this exit that early, because right after that, there is another kink to the left that will prepare us for the braking zone. And this car does not have any downforce, as you may know. And if you do miss that, you're going to end up being thrown all the way to the outside here and set you up for a terrible braking zone for the next right-hander. So we can't really get away from it. We want to gain a lot of time here by doing this kink flat. So you do a little bit of a braking here, then you turn in here, and from here all the way to the braking zone of the right-hander, you don't want to lift anymore. So that's why I'm not using this one here. I'm sacrificing a little bit of this exit to bring the car a little bit and then change direction, aiming for this little third red square here. That tells me, as you can see, I'm actually missing it just a tiny bit, but that's my aim, and that allows me to bring me back a little bit to the left as I'm braking. So I'm braking diagonally to the outside a little bit to open up and have a better line on this one. Then we're gonna aim to get as close as possible to the sausage, get back on power, and of course not use this exit here because the next corner is a tight left. So just bringing the car to more or less 3/4 here to the left, and then bringing the car more or less to, say, half of the track, so you can already trail brake again for the second apex. Again, same thing, get as close as possible to the sausage curb on the second apex here to the left, and then get back on power and relax your hands immediately to allow the car to go all the way and use all the track here to make sure that you get the best exit possible without getting any wheel spin, because the next corner is flat. That leads us into a very long straight. So this exit here is pretty much one of the most important exits of the entire track in terms of lap time. So flat, 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 no big deal here. Then heading into Brooklands, I want to brake at the 100 and then start turning in and kind of ignoring this inside for now, because when we get to the second red square here, so super late apex, then that's where I want to be on the inside limit, and then back on power, allowing the car to go almost all the way to the right, but leaving a little bit of room for the change of direction so we can get very early double apex here. So the first apex, I would say, is the end of this little green here. Then the car will go wide a little bit, and then we go back aiming a little bit for this last red here before we can go all the way to the outside for the exit. Same thing here, just make sure this is the very limit here. To make sure you don't use all the way to the left here. If you get all the car on the green, you will get an off track. And for this one, this is okay. There's no off track here. You can just cut this. And then for cops, use all the curb, then brake up quite early, more or less at the 100, and then you start turning in. I actually ended up getting a little bit too much of the grass here, which slowed a little bit the car, and I ended up not using all the exit here. So I lost a full tenth just because I ended up overslowing the car and cutting the grass here. On this exit here, you can have, say, the center of the car a little bit more to the left here, so you don't get, it was far from getting the off track, so that was my mistake on this lap. And then for the next corner, make sure you use the sausage here. You are on top of the sausage when you change direction, and you have the center of the car. Same thing, just make sure you don't touch the green with the center of the car, because that's where the off track is. It's quite strict these days. And then for this one, change direction. Same thing, aim for the second red here. And then back to third, trail braking again, no hard braking this time, and then aiming for the last, this one here. So as you can see on Megads, Beckets, and Chapel, we really want to aim for the last red bits of the apexes, because that's the best reference for this car. Always setting a kind of late apex for the exits. And then here, just make sure you don't get, same thing, the center of the car on the green. So this is as soon as you get on a good line here and you get back on power and you apex at the last red thing, it's kind of an easy exit. So you just need to allow the car to go wide and not touch the grass there. Then we go for the last corner. I would say, okay, let's try to use the curb, but you can't, because you actually start braking before the curb is even there. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna be just parallel to the white line, and as you're braking, you're trail braking pretty hard, so not a huge or quick brake release. You're really releasing the brakes very slowly as the car turns in, and you're aiming again, same thing, aiming for the last of these three curbs here, the three red ones. I did miss it a little bit here, but I got a very good run, and I was trying to rotate the car as much as I could, so the lap times were not that affected. And then here for the outside, it's kind of the single exception. You can actually bring the center of the car a little bit more to the left than you think. This was not an off track. So for this one, I do think that you just need to think about the left tires still on the green. So that's kind of safe. You can use a little bit more than you think there. But make sure you just come back quite quick after that, and you're good. And for this one here, this is a dangerous braking zone because it's very bumpy. So you want to brake actually earlier than you think and less than you think. Because as soon as you start braking, you can feel the car really bouncing all over. So you want to not brake that hard, because if you bounce and you're braking too hard and you end up locking up, you have a snowball effect where the tires get too hot, and then you turn in, and then you get under shear, and then for the next for the next right-hander, the car is still overheated on the tires, and you just lose a lot of time. All that just because of locking up the tires here. So make sure you brake a little bit conservatively, and way before the beginning of the curb here, way before the beginning of the white bit of the curb. Wait, and then second gear to make the car as close as possible to the sausage here, and then change direction, go to third quite early. I like upshifting to third as soon as I change direction. That kind of helps the car rotating a little bit more, and at the same time, you have a little bit more control of the power output that will have a huge influence on this last corner here. Here, I ended up turning in a little bit too early, and I'm going to show you what happened. So I like having the car more or less at the end of this sausage before I start turning to the right. But as you can see on this example, I'm actually turning a little bit earlier than that, and I'm getting away from the end of the sausage curve here, and I'm a little bit too early on the inside. What happens is now I can kind of have to go around a little bit, and by the time I get on this sausage here, the car is pointed in a weird way, and I ended up losing the rear here. This is not an off track, so the off track on this one is actually the center of the car on this white and green part of the curb. So I did not get an off track on this one, but I did lose time because of the oversteer. So just make sure you see all that there is actually affected by you using all the track and being as close as possible to the sausage on this one before you actually go to the right. Ideally, you want to do this all flat out. As soon as you get here, change direction, third gear, then back to flat. Now you don't want to lift anymore. You don't want to lift. You don't want to lift. You want to go flat out, very relaxed hands to prevent this oversteer from getting worse. So there you go. Lap time was a 2:01.858. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you next week.